Yo, what's good everybody? As promised, I was going to be doing an AMA, Ask Me Anything, Q&A, whatever you want to call it. I said I was going to do one of these videos. I put out an announcement on my community channel and you guys started throwing questions at me. So let's open a bag and let's get to some of these questions right now. From Cosmo Najaf. Hopefully that's right. He says, I guess the question on everyone's lips is, could we squeeze one more Han into the game? Also, which variation of Han? Only the hard-hitting questions from me. Indeed. What other variations are left? Like long sleeve Han? I can't even think Lego Han? Carbonite Han? But no, I don't think we'll get another one. If we do, let's just say that we will. What era is left? Is there anything that hasn't been touched? I mean, we've got a Han that's essentially the same Han, but he's just wearing a snow coat, Snowlo as they called him. Yeah, I can't think. Beast Mode Phil says, if you could only eat the same meal for each meal time, what would you eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Probably mac and cheese. You can't go wrong with mac and cheese, right? Jack says, real talk now, Chinese or Indian takeaway? Now this is a real question right here. Gotta be Chinese. Sweet and sour chicken balls, amazing. Plus Indian food's so expensive. I can never afford an Indian. Dryan Lord says, why did you start YouTube? What initially got you into Star Wars as a whole? I see you got several questions. Alright, let's go with the first one. Why did you start YouTube? In regards to gaming, I mean, I wasn't originally going to launch a gaming channel at all. That was never the intention. I was going to launch a channel covering like wrestling and MMA news. That's what I was gonna do. But my brother started streaming on Twitch. I gave it a go and I just really enjoyed it, and it led to a gaming channel. But the problem was with my live streams, a lot of people couldn't make the time. They'd miss my streams, or when it came to actually trying to give advice, it would get lost among a 2 to 4 hour stream. So I thought I'd start a channel and put out some guides for fellow newer players, because I mean, when I started, I wasn't particularly powerful. I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't even know there was a YouTube community, so I had never even heard of Arnold and all that lot. It wasn't until Smithy D came into my stream that I realized that it was quite big over here on YouTube. What initially got you into Star Wars as a whole? It was actually Knights of the Old Republic. I was never into Star Wars growing up. I was a sports guy. I played semi-professional football, moved into boxing and mixed martial arts. So Star Wars, comics, all that kind of stuff, it was never anything that appealed to me at all. But I was big on RPG games. I loved Final Fantasy. Started playing Knights of the Republic just because I was told it was a good RPG. Ended up falling in love with Star Wars. Zebras with black and white stripes, or white with black stripes. I don't know, doesn't matter. What software do you use? Adobe Premiere Pro is actually what I use for my video editing. I used to use, what was it, Windows Movie Maker or whatever. Awful software. But Premiere Pro is pretty hard. It takes a while to get used to that. I've had to use I'm using other YouTubers' tutorials to make you guys YouTube videos. Who's your favorite character in the game? My personal favorite to use, like to actually use, I suppose my favorite character in the whole game is probably Rex. If it wasn't for Rex, I would never have made the top 50 ranks in the early days before the Night System meta. Second, probably Mother Talzin. As for favorite character actually in the game, probably HK-47, one of my favorite characters. Unfortunately, he's useless. Favorite character in Star Wars as a whole, Anakin Skywalker, no question. Beast Mode Phil back again. Now most guilds that focus on Sith Raid have heroic on farm, and those that don't know how to farm to beat it. Would you welcome a new raid? What bosses would you like to see added to the game? Good question. I suppose we are due some big shake-up, whether it's a new territory battles or a new raid. Raid bosses, what could we bring in? I suppose we could have a fleet raid, because we're really starting to pack in a lot of ships into the game right now. I actually suspect we'll probably do a couple more capital ships and stuff. As for a standard raid, I'd like to see fight light side enemies, like a raid on the Jedi Temple. That could be the way to unlock, you know, Dark Side Anakin / Mustafa Darth Vader, whatever you want to call him. That would make sense. All the other raids were attacking Dark Side characters. Let's attack the light side. Eric Luffy, probably pronounced that wrong. Have you ever tried honey and cheese on bread? No, I do love honey though. I'm not big on cheese. Jokes aside, what is the funniest / most out-of-the-box combo of heroes you've ever tried? I've used some real strange teams. I actually took out a Nest team in a Grand Arena a while back with Tebow lead, Masked Kylo, Sith Assassin, and I forget who the other character was, but it was equally strange, and it proved very effective. Absolutely annihilated a maxed, slow modded Nest. I'm Sphinx says, things to look out for when mod farming. Should I farm new release characters right away? What mistakes do you wish you didn't make in your account? Wow, okay, well, when it comes to new release characters, it is preferable that you can jump on them straight away, that they're likely going to be required, you know, for something big in the future. However, don't get distracted from your current project, particularly if your project is an important one. Otherwise, you end up with like a million half-farmed characters that you can't use for anything. That'll hold your account back massively. As for like shop characters, you know, say like Paplu, Stark, First Order Special Forces, Tai, those kind of characters that are, you know, linked to a store, I tend to always try and get them out of the way immediately. As for the mistakes that I made on my account, too many to count in the early days. Those of you that remember me as a Twitch streamer, and that's how you found me originally, you know that I really didn't have a clue what I was doing for quite a while actually. My initial farms were actually the Jedi, when none of them were any good whatsoever. I was running like Luminara in Arena, but it wasn't even a full Jedi team. I think HK-47 was in there just because I liked him. But yeah, so many mistakes. Probably one of my worst ones, putting a Zeta on Sidious. That was pretty awful. I wish I could take that one back. I've got a Zeta on Stormtrooper, although that was actually kind of more or less just a community thing that happened. We will put out like a bunch of characters' names in a hat and it got drawn. So I don't regret that one as much, although looking back, I'd probably not get involved in that at all. This one's from Tony Jar Jar Binks. that's a pretty awesome name. He's got a few questions. First one, what is your favorite game franchise? Oh, dude. Oh, wow. I'm probably going to name a franchise and completely forget a bunch of others that I love. If I could only play one game franchise like for the rest of my life, possibly Fallout. I really do love Fallout. Massive fan. I've got the originals, I've never finished them, but Fallout 3, New Vegas, and 4, I've played them to death. I love those games. Big fan of Mass Effect as well. Huge Mass Effect fan. His second question, who is your biggest gear or Zeta regret? I actually kind of covered that in the last question. Biggest Zeta regret, Sidious. And biggest gear regret, probably Sidious again. Don't use him like ever. I really don't. He doesn't get any love. Although saying that, I think he's only about gear, he might be gear 10 or 11. So let's cut Sidious out for a second, because it's probably a little unfair. He's probably seen more action than some of my characters. Probably IG-86. That's got to be pretty painful. He's only about gear 10, but yeah, looking back on it, he ate up some gear. Night Sister Acolyte as well. Don't use her at all anymore. She was quite big in the Night Sister meta, but now she's just sat there at gear 12, completely wasted. How did you get your channel name? Is his third and final question. Easy. DB are my initials. The official, it came from my days as a signed hip-hop artist. For those of you that don't know, yes, I was a rapper for many years. Quite big, semi-successful in the UK as well. Made national radio, TV and stuff like that. And there was another rapper that randomly changed his name to my initials, even though I had absolutely no relation to anything for him. So on my Twitter handle, I just went by DB Official. And all my channels went by DB Official as well. The 125 actually comes from my MMA weight class. I was a flyweight. Although ironically, I never fought at flyweight. I was making the cut but my opponent pulled out, and then the second time I was supposed to fight a flyweight, my opponent pulled out again with about, I don't know, a week out from the fight. So the only weight class I've actually fought at was bantamweight, which is 135. But yeah, I made the channel around the time I was making the cut, so 125 it is. Ascend Skyburn says, what do you think CG is planning this February? Darth Revan, Malik, or something out of left field? I think we're going to get a Sith capital ship. I really do. We got 4 Sith ships. We got nowhere to really use any of them other than Vader, and that's purely because he's just a great standalone ship to begin with. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Nihilus get his ship. Darth Malik would not surprise me at all, either Marquis or a legendary, just using, like, you know, all of the Old Republic characters, because even though you've got light and dark side, you know, under Revan and Kaf, they've all got uses. Darth Revan, I don't know if we're going to see him. I don't know how that event would work. We do a hero's journey. Well, the only one that actually faced him was Bastila. So yeah, I don't know how they would do Darth Revan, to be honest. And using Traya, and that wouldn't make any sense. Dr. Draken says, what's your opinion on Jango Fett in Galaxy Heroes? Now, I was actually pretty excited when Jango came to the game. I'm big on the prequel era, because obviously I came through Knights of the Republic, and then I started watching the prequels first. It was like, right, let's see what these movies are about. Hence why Anakin's probably my favorite character. But yeah, Jango was kind of, he's my Boba. Everyone seems to love Boba Fett. Boba didn't really do anything for me, whereas Jango, I thought he was cool. Big on Mandalorians as well. So yeah, Jango is a character I was pumped to get into the game. I haven't really used him a lot, although he's got a really tasty kit. Really handy if you're trying to take out Nest in Galactic Bounties 2. In general, just a really solid character. I just don't think he's, you know, I don't think his prime use has been found yet. And that's it for this video, guys. That's the first AMA out of the way. If you guys want to drop more questions in the comments below, I don't really care what it's about. Games, movies, music, me, Galaxy Heroes, you name it. Just feel free to fire questions at me, and I'll try and address as many as possible in episode 2. Till next time, guys, we out of here.